And welcome to Incredibly, a show about superheroes where we discover content together. My name is Dennis, and I have a question. How do you make a Kleenex dance? You put a little boogie on it.
Oh, all right. I thought you were about to tie that with Windex or something, but I don't know.
Now, it's a classic.
Yeah.
Go with the classic for classic Marvel television. I appreciate it. My name's Joey. I'm just happy to be back with some peak Marvel entertainment.
Me too. And as always, it's your boy Uchi back again. Once again, hope you guys are doing incredibly today. Stop screaming. All right, there we go.
Sorry.
And this show is for you and you and you. Brought to you by the Superheroes. Let's party. All right. We made it, and I can't believe that we kept the text limited because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we were very behaved. I'll give us that.
Very well behaved.
That's good.
And Joey, there might be spoilers. There might be spoilers on this.
There's going to be
a lot.
So many spoilers for everything. Everything that's ever came out from Marvel, period. Because like we said in our predictions episode, Loki's involved in all of it. So if you aren't caught up on your MCU lore, you ain't caught up on your Loki lore, be prepared to either leave or learn because you've been warned.
You've been warned.
Need like a spoiler warning.
Yeah, right. There you go. Uchi, what's going through your mind? Well, you saw this episode. I saw the reaction as well. How do you feel?
Well, like Joey started off by saying, man, I'm so happy that we have something that I don't feel like people will be mixed on. I feel like people are gonna be back in tune with what Marvel's cooking, and Loki showed us what's up back during season 1. So now that it's back for season 2, like you can really start feeling like the weight of things again, you know? And I love that. The only bad thing is that we have to wait every week, and that's about it. So I'm just super excited that it's back. I'm super excited to talk about it with you guys on this platform, and I hope our listeners are just as excited because I mean, this show is OD. I don't know if you guys have realized, but this show is gonna set the tone for like the next several years MCU wise.
Yeah. I think this one episode set the tone already for the next several years.
Joey, the thing that stood out to me, and Uchi, the thing that stood out to me the most was Obi. Obi's presence, Ki Hugh Kwan, his presence, and just what he brings, like this likability and charm to Loki and to this season. If they can't deliver in this season with another addition of a quality actor, we're in trouble. But based on this episode, I thought it was pretty fire. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I liked. The funny thing is, I don't know Ouroboros from the comics. I knew the name because I was like, I don't know where I know Ouroboros from, but I know this name. And now that I'm seeing it happen in this comic, or not in this show, rather, not freaking comic, what the hell? But I was like, oh, this is what OB is all about. And I enjoyed the character. He was like that, comical side, but he also gave like another, like it gave the viewers this this feeling of like, what the hell is about to happen? Because like, the whole like time warp thing that was happening, the time slipping that was happening, and he was a part of that moment. That I want to talk more about, but I'll let Joey go. to answer the question too.
Piggybacking off what you just said, to have somebody as ingrained with the TVA as Obi is, to be like, this can't happen. Oh shit, it just happened. I literally wrote the book on what can and cannot happen here,
This man had the
and it
whole
just happened.
book.
So I he wrote the book.
Yeah.
So I loved his inclusion. I think OB is just I can't say his name.
Ki-Hu
It's so
Kwan?
bad. I think it's Ki Hui Kwan. He is a fantastic actor.
Mm-hmm.
I love the energy that he brought to the show because it's such a good dynamic between him and the other two. Oh my goodness, Mobius. I want to say Morbius.
Morpheus.
That's why. Morpheus.
It's Morpheus time.
Mobius and Loki, the three of them together are just, that was so much fun. Going back from the past, then to the future, with them each having the dialogue together, I thought was fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing like more of that, those kind of intertime, what would you call that? Interactions, the intertime interactions, where it's like somebody's interacting with somebody in the past, that's that interacting with somebody in the future. I loved that part.
That's fire.
So much fun. Yeah. But and I'm going to say this up front. This is the first time in a long time that I've been able to go on Twitter and people weren't hating on
Yo,
this
I know
shit.
he'd be looking.
Frame one.
You're looking for those fights, bro. You didn't find any.
I was looking. I didn't see any. Everybody was so happy with it. Everybody liked it.
Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
Dude, literally, I've yet to see any hate on the show so far. I mean, it's still episode 1, right?
Yeah.
So
that's true.
But all that being said, it's a star-studded cast. They literally knocked out of the park with this episode. I literally cannot be happier. My girlfriend watched the my rewatch of the episode, and she was like, "This is a Marvel show?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is a Marvel show. Like this, that's how good this can be."
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she was like, "That's Tom Hiddleston." I'm like, "Yeah, he's like only known for Loki right now. I think I can't really think of any other roles." But I was like, "Just wait, the cast gets deeper."
It gets crazier. You know, low key, OB reminded me, and it's funny because I kept calling him Bob. The last episode we recorded, for some reason I was like, Bob. Was it Bob? There was a B in there, and an O, so I got that right. But low key,
You're close.
Yeah. He kind of reminded me of Q from James Bond.
Okay.
Right? James Bond has Q, who is
Man
like
in
the
the chair.
tech guy. Yeah, exactly. And so I kind of, maybe this is Loki's version of Q, which is OB. And man, that scene you're talking about, Joey, when Loki is in the past and like things are coming into his memory and into his mind, that was so fire. He was like, oh wait, yes. Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, it's this massive device that I built 300 years ago is right here still. Hold on, let me.
So like honestly, those moments was doing it for me, man. I was just like, freaking out. I got the reaction to prove it. Y'all could literally go see it right now. Cause originally I was like, do I really want to get into doing this for reactions? And I was like, you know what? Might as well. So this is the first MCU show that I'm doing, but like this first episode left us with some things that I actually wanted to bring to you all today to talk about. Because
Let's go.
It helped me realize a few things. And obviously this all has to do with Kang, right? The first thing, and then we can like kind of go around, because I want to hear you guys. How do you smell what I'm cooking, essentially? No pun on the rock, all right? But I'm trying to, all right, let me just say it, all right? So the first thing, I feel like the TVA is somehow placed outside of all these timelines and stuff. Similarly to how the Watcher watches all these realities, right? Because I'm like, when there was that scene where they go to like that basement or whatever, and you could see the physical time, like the sacred timeline. I'm like, bro, how do you look at that, right? So in my head, I'm just like, okay, Kang must have somehow, when he built this, figured out how to be outside of time, literally outside of time. And that is why this show is crazy, because these are the things that you now have to like work with and like kind of like jog in your brain when you're watching this, because it's like, yo, like that's how, because then when you ask the question like, well, how do they have like a future and a past and all that stuff, I'm like, I mean, when you think of it like that, it kind of makes more sense. So that's what I'm gonna start with, and I want to hear what y'all think about that.
Yeah, Joey, go for it.
Yes. It's literally
That's how I feel too. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. No, so what I think happened was there was the war, the multiversal war with all the Kangs, where the one above all was able to pull himself. He was able to win and then pull himself out of the timeline and develop the TVA from outside of that. I think that how that came to be is what is going to be answered in this show. Once we understand who Victor Timely is. Like, I don't know if you guys have went and watched the trailers now.
Still to this day.
I'm afraid. Okay, so I'm still afraid.
There are some things in the trailers that may help your understanding, not necessarily of like what happened, but what is to come. Like we see a shot of Miss Minutes in the trailer that may be, I don't want to spoil it for you if you guys haven't watched it. So I don't trust her. So no, not at all.
Loki doesn't as well.
No, well, we don't even know if she's around right now because we saw Mobius try to get in contact with her. What was that, like after Loki came back and then disappeared and then came back, and she was like, "Oh, I can't get in contact with her." So we don't even know if she's still around, right? But all that to say, I think we're going to learn more about how this came to be, but it absolutely is outside of time. Not necessarily. It's probably somewhere in space, but not necessarily in time.
That just
which is really cool, because that was all that I was thinking too.
It's crazy
because like they literally are looking at I think they call it the temporal loom, where it's taking all the timelines and meshing it in. I think they said it is taking time and then condensing it into physical time, which like solidifies it on the timeline, I think is what's happening. But is that a Kang construct, or is that like, something that came before all of this, right?
So one thing that I did get from the trailers is in that old scene where Victor Timely's in front of the stage and he's doing all this stuff. I'm guessing that's a presentation of how all this is going to go down, and we just haven't seen it. So that presentation when he's on stage is most likely going to talk about that concept. And yeah, like what I understand is the temporal loom is like it brings all the timelines together into pretty much one synced timeline, is the way that makes sense in my brain. But with this concept, and we'll jump all over the place when it comes to this, but at the end, when I was like, well, who pruned Loki? Now I'm thinking that it was definitely Loki, like a variant future version of himself.
What the hell?
At the end of this episode?
Yes.
I think it was Sylvie, because I think she knew that he was going to be there. I think that the telephone ringing, I don't remember if that was something that may have happened in the first season. You both have watched it more recently than me. But that telephone ringing, that's definitely like something that has been used in other media to represent someone knowing somebody's there. I think of like almost like Scream, when they're like call the people on the phone, say like I'm watching you kind of thing, like that kind. That's how I took that scenario.
Movie?
Right. What's that? So that's.
I was thinking about doing that one.
When Sylvie kind of is like opens up the doors and it's like, oh, there you are. I think that was her saying, okay, I need to be at this place now in order to make sure this goes through.
Okay.
So in my head, Sylvie, wherever she was in time, was looking for Loki to help him get back to where he needed to be. But all that to say also is that I don't think that this fixed the time slipping, just because the trailers showed more time slipping. But I think that maybe is that our Loki? Is that another Loki? Is that something else that happened?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, that's what my gut's telling me. It's a variant Loki, right?
I feel I feel like when it comes to that question, like who pruned them, I will probably lean more towards what Dennis is saying, because in that scene, like when you see her coming out the elevator, she was like in front of him, and he got pruned from the backside. So I'm like, yeah, like they the way they shot it, they made it look like you couldn't see who it was at all. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's why, like, cause I'm like, yo, what does she have? Instant transmission? She just went from the elevator to behind them and pruned them real quick. You know what I'm saying? But my other thing that I wanted to now bring up with all of this is that the fact that Loki was not able to, like not even like with his own will, like he is slipping through time at the TVA, right? So
Yeah.
it kind of has me asking, and well, thinking back to season 1, because when Kang straight up told him, I paved the road for you to even have all this happen, right? It like makes you question a lot of things, right? But then obviously there's that one part where he's like, oh, we just crossed the threshold. Like, I don't even know what's about to happen right now, right? Even though I feel like that definitely, he could have not been lying, I still feel like everything that's happening to Loki right now is still a paved type of road that inadvertently or whatever is directly because of Kang. Because, like, when he was sent back, when Sylvie used his temp pad, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
So, because of that, when you watch the end of season 1, and he gets sent back to the past of the TVA, right? At a point in time where everybody knew Kang was him, like that Kang is the one who built all this up and whatnot. And so you don't, like, as watchers, you don't watchers like we're the time space reality. No, like, but like,
Yeah.
I'm not bald yet, bro.
as viewers,
He said not yet.
yeah. As viewers of this, and you only seen that first season, you're like, yo, what the fuck? Like, how does this even make sense? But then the first episode, like within the first few minutes, answers that instantly. He got sent back to a previous TVA time, because at first I was like, yo, is that like another reality TVA or whatever? But yeah, so that's my thing. I wanted to see what you guys thought of, like, do you guys feel like Kang also meant for this also to happen for him, even if he didn't mean or even imagine this much would happen? But like, just think about what Loki has been directly involved with. Like, all this, everything that happened in episode 1 was because of him, and he had influence on stuff prior to him originally getting there, which is it's mind-blowing. It's crazy. Like, he was the reason why OB was even saying, wait, oh yeah, no, it's right here. Like, what? Like, I was like, nah, son, this is crazy. Like, Loki, and like, that's why how he got his name, OB.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's OD for OB, right? So yeah, so go ahead, take the freaking mic.
Bars.
I need some thoughts.
It's so wild. And again, I hate to bring this up, but this is the reason why I think it's super important to keep this timeline, multiverse, time slipping plot very simple, so that when
I agree.
When we can, discuss things like this and think about possibilities, the possibilities just make a little bit more sense. And so I don't have that concern yet, right? Because the way that they did with Loki going in the past and talking to OB and all that, so I was like, okay, cool, do that. The little dusty note, right? The
in the
skin,
future.
In the future, I was like, okay, cool. So what this does for us watchers or viewers is that it just ties in concepts a little bit easier and smoother. So maybe they're learning their lesson. I gotta ask this question, bro.
Yeah.
Were you guys thinking about Spider-Man?
Honestly, no. To be honest,
no. If anything, I was thinking more so about Endgame and how the time travel worked in Endgame, where they went. It was because at that point in time, the timelines had not split. I'm assuming. So it was all, and I think Doctor Strange's what is her name? The bald lady from Doctor
Oh.
Strange. She was kind of trying to explain it to Hulk at the time, where it was like, you guys are trying to, that you're splitting from the timeline, right?
Yes.
Even though I guess at that point it probably was supposed to have happened.
Yeah, like you're
that
dooming
way.
my reality. I remember her saying that.
Yeah, you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I was thinking more about that and how all that played out, but they were able to go back. They went back, took the stones to defeat Thanos. They went back in time to replace the stones.
Yeah.
But so that I was more so thinking along those lines, just because it seems like Loki isn't slipping through dimensions, as far as we know.
Mhm.
Loki is strictly slipping through time, where it feels like with like Spider-Verse, the only reason that Miles is glitching is because he's not in his home universe. Whereas
Right.
where I don't necessarily understand how it works with Loki. It seemed like his body is in multiple times at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand. I hope they explain how that happened. And I think they will, because I think we're going to see more of that. But that was...
This is why I think the person who pruned him is a Loki variant from the future or something along those lines, because I
What
think
if it's just him from the future?
it could be. And I think the stuff that's happening right now to him, even the lights flickering and all that stuff that was going on in this first episode, is a reflection of what is happening to the real pruning person. This is gonna be crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Or some Tenet shit.
Yo, exactly. Exactly, right? So I don't know if they're gonna get that crazy. If they do, okay, fine. That's fine. Just keep it simple, right? Like, my metaphor is like, and here's an exaggerated example. If you're going to do these kind of plots and people's attention span is very low, and if you want growth when it comes to Marvel viewers, go back. I'm being exaggerated, but go back a year. But when you do that time and you make it simple, when you go back, make it grand, make the fight grand, make the graphics go crazy. So keep that piece simple, but then make it huge, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely see why you would have some concern. I can also understand why you were asking if we thought of Spider-Man as well. But Joey put it really well. Like, and that kind of backs up why, when I was watching Loki, my whole focus was on Loki. Like, I didn't think of anything else like Marvel at all, because of how different like the situations are being handled. Because like now that you mention it, like obviously thinking back to Miles, like, like Joey said, he wasn't even supposed, he was in the wrong place. So that's why he was like, glitching out, and like they had, means to deal with that kind of thing. Like he had like a freaking visitor wristband type. It was cool. Like I liked how they did that. But then like here with Loki, it's like, well, he got sent back to the TVA, but I don't know if he was intentionally sent to the past version of the TVA. And I'm sure we're going to find out more, and I hope we find out as to why he's like slipping and, doing all the, going through past, present, future. But because of that, that's kind of where we are presented with this like caution. Like this could get very like finicky, and a lot of people that might not be as like in tune or can follow, where they're going. Cause it's like, that game where it's like, you got the one thing under 3 cups and you're like shuffling them around.
The hustle game?
Yeah, like
I lost like $50 or something in New York playing that game.
Yeah, like
I lost to a guy dressed as Spider-Man in New York to a game like that.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't want a show like this to have that kind of a feel for it, especially with, because it's like it's so weird how media works. It's like you have fans like us that like love this stuff so much. We have a whole freaking podcast dedicated to just talking about it, right? It's like a part of our lives, right? But then it's like you have the casuals, right? That it's almost as if like if they don't fuck with it, then we're all screwed out of something like amazing. You know, like if the level of understanding can't be understood by the people that leave during the fucking credits, like, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, yeah, then it's like then you run into some issues, and
Yeah.
you know, that's I think I'm now concerned because of Dennis's concern. Because if Dennis is concerned, fuck, I'm concerned. So,
I think if they can keep it as contained as they did in Endgame,
yeah,
I think they'll be fine. Because like how you said, Dennis, so long as they're using the going back and forth between time to serve a purpose,
Right.
and to have really big impact, it's kind of like when you were saying that, I was thinking of when Cap goes back and he has the fight with himself, which was like so sick. You know, that I could do this all day. It's like, all right, buddy. Like, I love that scene. Or I loved Tony going back and meeting his dad, and those kinds of scenes having that kind of importance. So I would like, you know, I think we're going to get that in this show, and that can be seen when Sylvie at the very end goes back to whatever, like
80s,
1981,
she's in the 80s
and goes
now,
to and she's at McDonald's.
Shout
Shout out McDonald's. And she says, I want to try everything, because she sees all these people living the life that she never got to have. And so I think that we're going to get those moments. But I do absolutely understand your concern, because I mean, shout out Moz, people didn't like the little changes and the plot devices and everything that they had in that show, just because it was so different or was hard to understand. Whereas I think it could get very out of hand very fast with this. But I trust the showrunners for Loki way more than I do
That's
for
what I'm
any
saying.
of the other shows that we've got.
Great faith in Marvel.
Like, it's crazy, just based off of one episode, how much faith has been restored in me from Secret Invasion. Like just even the humor in this episode, they didn't kill anybody off in the first episode. It was just the stakes, like immediately you can see Loki is scared shitless of Kang. And that was something that, like, I really didn't feel from Secret Invasion. Whether that's because of Nick Fury as just being this very stoic person, or if it's Loki being, you know, the person that he is now in this time. I definitely feel like coming out of this, that this, like you said, Uchi, at the start, this has set the tone for how scary Kang is. Because I think I might have said it to you, like, Kang in Ant-Man, you know, basically lost to Ant-Man. Like, what the fuck? Like,
right.
You know, like, that did not make me fear Kang. What made me fear Kang was then seeing the Legion of Kang at the very end, and then now how Loki's reacting to it. So I'm so excited for what's to come because of the 47 minutes. Goddamn 47 minutes that we had with Loki this week.
You know, and maybe this is why they're keeping it one episode per week, so you can digest it, maybe rewatch it. Because maybe if they hit us with 3 in a row, we're gonna be like, wait a minute, what happened? What happened there? You know, you got to get your calculator out and start doing math. You know, so it could get crazy. And speaking of like just the showrunners and all that stuff, the scene in the elevator when Mobius and Loki are talking about how bad the time slipping looks, and then the camera just pans to someone else in the elevator. That is such like a clean cliche kind of move to do, right? We see this in TV shows and everything, but they did it so smoothly and so good that I was like, damn, now you're taking something that is familiar to me as a concept to understand as a joke, but you just added this little Mobius and Loki quality actor type of vibe to it, and I loved it.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Dude, that was the Stan Lee cameo that could have been.
Yo.
Oh, don't say that.
But bro, like that's the first thing. That is the first thing that came to mind when that moment happened. I was like, damn, like this was funny. Yeah. But that sort of humor, I was like, I immediately thought of Stan. I was like,
it's like Stan Lee as the janitor.
Exactly.
In the Spider-Man scene, it's just in the background.
Exactly.
Up,
like he fit those cameo roles perfectly because no matter what he was doing, no matter what he said or what he did, it was just like that was the one thing that you always really like look forward to especially in the movies and stuff, right? Like just seeing him on screen, like it always just made me smile, made me laugh. And when I saw that, that was the first time that I felt like, wow, that was a Stanley placeholder. That's literally like what I didn't say placeholder, but I was like, damn, that could have been Stanley right there. And I said rest in peace in my reaction because I was like, I felt it right then and there.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so glad that you guys liked this episode. I did as well. The one thing that I was thinking about when I was watching this series, and then also I just rewatched episode or season 1 not too long ago. But there are 3 things that stood out to me that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And these are like just 3 things that I'm going to keep an eye on to make sure that the series is in the right track. Just like as an anchor, as a nerd who does podcasts with his friends, right? These are like the 3 things I'm going to look for.
Troy with the actually face.
I know.
Actually.
That's so good. One of them is keeping the timeline simple.
Yeah.
Right. That's one. The second one is I don't want the show to forget who Loki is. Loki isn't this scared person who's kind of nice, who has a best friend, who he's going to get him like a birthday cake and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. Loki is untrustworthy, mischievous, all that stuff, right? So I just don't want to lose that. And maybe this is a variant of Loki that is just a nice guy. Just like a variant of Loki could be an alligator. Who knows? Right.
Yeah.
So that's number 2. Number 3 is just more OB. Because OB will do something where his presence on the TV will just eliminate any concern, any frustrations that we have. He's like the person you want to bring into. He should have been in the Thanksgiving dinner in Moss. He is Jimmy.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But those are the 3 things. And I don't know about you guys, but like what's something maybe that you're looking forward to or you're going to keep your eyes on just to like embrace the show a little bit more?
I didn't really think about this. Well, I think one thing for me was making sure that Kang really feels like a threat throughout the entire thing, and making sure that and this kind of contradicts what you're saying, but like Loki's at the end of this, Loki's going to be the one that goes back to Earth and says, "Hey," well, I guess Scott Lang is going to also be there, maybe, but it's gonna be Scott and Loki coming back to Earth and being like, "This guy is here. This is a serious problem. We need to figure this out." Right? Like that, and you can't have. Obviously, they're gonna be like, "Wow, Loki, like, okay, like, how are we gonna trust you?" It's gonna be very hard for him to pull that off, especially with Thor and everything. So that to me is the one thing, because we had years, like a decade of buildup to make Thanos feel like this unstoppable force, literally from the end credits of Iron Man or whenever that was, when we like see him in the chair just like,
oh, that was Avengers
with
1,
the gauntlet, right? Okay, so and how long ago was that like 2009 2012?
Damn, that's still that's still a decade, bro.
That's still
that was
decade.
That was 7
plus the decade.
Yeah,
that was what, 7 years of buildup to get to Endgame. So it's and we're right now. I'm sure the timeline would have been a little bit more condensed if it weren't for COVID. But that's the one thing that I want is Kang. If we're gonna have, Kang Dynasty and all these big sagas spanning this character, it needs to really feel like he's about to like absolutely destroy everything. So that to me is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I can agree with y'all. I did want to, before I say my piece, I did want to say that as far as like I feel what Dennis said about Loki, like not like us not forgetting like who he is, right? Because like and the funny thing is like I did think of that a little bit, but I thought of it in a way where I was like, damn, like look how far this character alone has come. Like he starts off as the pure ass Loki that we knew of him. Like this is the Loki from 2012, post getting his ass tossed by Hulk, right? This guy was getting waved around like a flag. and he was over here
Yep.
arrogant. Like, he didn't even get to go through all of the like character development that he went through the next following Thor films, right? And then
Yeah.
uh,
Sacrificing himself in
yeah,
Infinity
like
War.
he didn't have any of that happen to him, which kind of goes to show you, like, when you want to throw that in there, like when it comes to the Loki conversation, like, he's a character that grows as the story progresses, like the overall story progresses, right? This Loki, though, he's going through it, and he's progressing in a way that none of the others have, because he made it to the end of time. He had that conversation with the dude who created a space outside of time just to maintain it. And like, he's so beside himself that someone of this caliber even exists. Like to have a dude just to make him feel so powerless, like, for someone like Loki to understand those measures and to not let himself and let his ego, like it normally would have, or it already did, like in season 1, that was like shot dead in the ground. That was very short-lived. Now it is all about, bro, if we don't figure some shit out right now, we're all gonna die type shit. And that's
Right.
that's like one of the most entertaining things about the stakes that are at hand, because you have a character like Loki, and this is like the perfect character to do it with, because, you know, he's the mischievous one, the jokester type stuff. Like, he's always making snarky remarks, and he's always trying to double cross and do all this stuff. Now he's like, nope, this guy is a way bigger threat, way worse than anyone could imagine, because we're dealing with, like, not just this timeline, but this, like, it's like at any point, at any given moment, something crazy could happen, right? So that's kind of like what I'm thinking, or where I'm at with like his character going forward. But that, I guess, the one thing that I'm obviously looking for is to see, like, really just how this develops the overall story going forward, because, like, we know of certain projects that are happening that are gonna be coming out, right? Like, obviously we got the Marvels coming up. That's the next big movie. And then, like, obviously in 2024 we have like the next Deadpool movie, which I'm sure is gonna set off a lot of things that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And, like, for me, I just hope that this doesn't fall flat, and this doesn't, like, have us asking questions. Not like, I hope it doesn't have us asking bad questions. You know, like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
like having questions that I want answered when it makes me feel like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe they're doing this, that, and the other. Like, that's really what it is. Like, you know, my cliche thing, I could have been like, yeah, like, I want to see Wolverine. You know, like, that's dumb. Like, I like, it would be funny to see, like, a little
I
Deadpool
wanna see Wolverine.
cameo. Yeah, right. Yeah, you want to see I'm sure we all want to see some fucking X-Men in this at some point, right? But I just want whatever they're gonna put in front of us to just make sense. That's like the big takeaway from.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
I wanted to ask you guys too, like, one thing that I loved was how this episode started where the last season ended.
Yes.
Literally seconds.
Yeah.
That was so good. Like, I was just like, whoa, this is so dope. This is so clever. And I just loved it. I thought it was great because it just doesn't make me wonder, like, what's going on with this dude? Like, what's he been up to? Like, what's been happening in his life and all that stuff? It's just like, nope, I'm going straight into it. And now rewatching season 1 was even a better idea, right? It was so good. Joy, what do you think?
It felt like, and I think I said this earlier, it was such a stark difference from Secret Invasion to this. It almost doesn't feel like the same Marvel. Like, it feels like we're back. Like, it feels like this is what we knew Marvel for. This is why we wanted to make a podcast about this shit, because of how excited we would get week in, week out. And so to start the episode off with Loki, you know, jumping in the back of a hover car, crashing back into the TVA, and then all of the shenanigans that ensue after that was like, it was perfect, because it felt like we picked up right where we left off, you know, in 2020. It was seamless, and I'm excited once again to watch Marvel. Like it just I don't know. I feel like it almost felt like a job having to watch Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
Like I felt like we were watching it just to keep up. Like it
I
it
feel
did. It
you.
felt like we were watching it just so that we stayed in the know.
And we started it,
almost-
which is like, it's hard not to like keep watching
Damn,
it.
we
We
were
tried.
coming at a
Can't just
crazy
not-
time, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's
And
so wild.
having I think it was almost the complete team back on this project that was on the first season is proving to be really good because they are absolutely nailing it, knocking out of the park. I mean, it's episode 1. We got like total probably
Right.
like 40 minutes
Yeah.
of show, but still.
I'm excited. I want to see the back in time stuff. I want to see the 80s, the 1800s. I want to see the 2050s, like anything. Like, give me all of it. I want to see those different times. Uchi, what's your rating out of 5?
Oh, this is the easy 5. Easy 5. Like
Yeah.
I don't. The thing is, I love when, like you had brought up with going from how it ended into this first episode, it was like seamless, right? I love when a show does that, or even a movie that does that. The only one I could think of that is close to this, literally, this is my cheap plug, when they did it in Power Rangers. At the end of Power Rangers
Nice.
Power Rangers Turbo, you watch that last episode, you turn on Power Rangers in Space episode 1, it is right there. It's the same predicament that they're in, and it just continues. And I'm like, wow, that's what this just made me remember, because that's literally what happened. It's like Loki's back and he's freaking out. He's like looking at all these Kang statues. This episode starts, he's running from people in the TVA. Kang is still everywhere. They don't know who he is. You felt the instant stress. When a show stresses you out like that, that's how you know it's OD.
Right.
You get stressed out from turning the show on.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
it was.
But you know what? Speaking of like, the statue and running into the statue with the car and like breaking it, the crack on the floor that we saw when the TV fell on the floor, all that stuff are cues for us to keep an eye on. Like, you'll know, that happened during that time. Okay, that thing wasn't there. So which brings me to my other point. The reason it's so cool that they started the season in the way that they did is that it can't be easy to get all the makeup people to remember how the makeup was last time. Oh, Loki's hair was, split to the other side and he had a little red mark here. Like, all that stuff takes a lot of effort, man, and it takes a real team to put all that stuff together. But Joey, what's your rating?
I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 incredibly points for the simple fact of you just saying that this continuity is going to be insanely hard to keep. And if there's one thing that I know nerds are like mega Karens on is continuity. And so shout out to I'm sure Marvel and Disney are going to be like watching it like hawks, right? So I know we probably won't see any. Well, we can't. It would fit in the set, but like the coffee cups on the set of Game of Thrones or things like that, just things out of time. Probably won't see it that much. Hopefully they got all their eggs in a basket. I just keep saying it. I'm just so excited. Like this episode had me so. I was just smiling the whole time because the soundtrack was back. We're back. Peak is back, man. I'm just so excited.
Back. Let's get it.
That's
5
awesome.
out of 5.
Incredibly points.
Incredibly points.
All right, this is where I lose your respect.
Oh no.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
Damn. Why? Because his hair was wrong?
Yeah, exactly. They messed up the hair. It wasn't that long before. It's just the concern I have, the big concern, and I didn't want to fall in love too much with this. Fall in love with this episode too much. I did, but that's the only thing. I'm pulling in Uchi. Uchi was like lowering the score because of the transformation. So this concern of mine is just gonna hold him accountable.
That's fair.
But let's see where we are in the next couple of episodes, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'll keep it a 4 out of 5 for now. I'm a hard judge.
You're giving it
I'm
a 4
hard
out of
judge.
5 for the future.
Nah, yo, the funny thing
for
about
the
Dennis
concern.
is he's the type of dude where it's like, man, I saw Gravik and Barbie. This shit sucks. That's literally how he. You gotta be careful with his ratings,
That's
though.
That's
so just
exactly
keep that in
what
mind.
you did.
Yeah. Yo, I literally text you guys from the movie theater. I was like, I can't believe this. Why is he here? Yo, you gotta stay committed to the Marvel stuff. You
Yeah.
can't go over to Barbie. That's so wild. Okay, cool. Man, but I am glad. WandaVision to me is the anchor. Like, to me, it had everything. It had charm, comedy, emotional aspects to it. It went back in time. It had so much character and like creativity in general. So let's see where this goes. I'm excited. All right. Any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
Trying to think.
I'm gonna hold mines until next week because I know it'll add another 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so I'm
right.
chilling.
No, I'm just glad. I'm saying it again. I'm just glad to be back with peak Marvel entertainment once again. Feels good to be back.
Same here.
Yes, sir.
It's good to be back. Good to be back. I'm glad we finally talked about it too.
Right.
Same.
I'm hoping that this level of Marvel continues into the Marvels. That's all I'm gonna say. We need to ride the wave because Loki, the last episode of season 2, comes out the same day that the Marvels comes out in theaters.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be an interesting day.
So
Yeah, we're gonna be busy.
That's
Yeah.
a Thursday to remember.
Mm.
November
Okay,
9th.
okay.
So that's Sarah's birthday. Happy birthday, babe, in the future.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So I will not be watching it when it comes out, but that's gonna be that'll be so
You need to
weird.
convince her.
Yeah,
It's
right.
gonna come out.
Yeah. Hey, I know it's your birthday, but like,
But your gift is in the theater.
I got
Right,
you popcorn.
exactly.
It's at our seats already.
Oh man. All right, well, that's all the time that we have for today. Do not forget to drop us a rating, leave us a comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you want to check me out on Comics with Den. And I just released a new YouTube channel called Popcorn with
Ooh.
Den.
What?
Speaking of
You got
popcorn,
another channel?
And I got another
gonna
channel, and
subscribe
I'm
right
gonna
now.
do a little bit more movie stuff.
Okay.
It's also a family internal joke with me and Popcorn, because I watch a lot of movies
Okay.
and TV shows. So yeah, I got Loki stuff up there as well. So check that out. I didn't want to send it to you guys because I didn't want to.
I just
You
subscribed.
wanted to surprise us? Is that what? Because now I want. Where's the link?
Where's the link? So but I think I told you guys this was kind of like the goal of mine too. Like, this was like the one that I really wanted to do, like movies and TV shows. But anyways, check me out there. All the links will be in the description down
Nice.
below. We're officially YouTubers now.
Yay us.
doing different stuff. Yay us. And all they want are shorts.
That's
Yep,
right.
that's all they
That's
want.
right.
Literally.
Welcome to the modern era.
Yep. No attention
Terrible.
spans
None.
at all.
None.
0.
30-second shorts.
Less than
Joey,
that.
where can people find
You
you?
can find me on x.com for the artist formerly known as twitter.com
Artist
/ what is my Twitter? Life in My Pace. Or you can find me on twitch.tv / house_top.
Solidation. You already know what it is. Get your trees out. We got the link tree. You know what I'm saying? All the links for your boy right there. The YouTube, the Twitter, because fuck X. I was about to say Tumblr, but I haven't. What? Oh man, but yeah,
I like that.
all my channels and social media you can find right there. Linktree / uchigames. So check me out, and obviously right here on Incredibly. What's up?
I was about to pour water for the tree, and then I realized I actually have water in my cup. That would have been bad.
Yeah, very bad.
That's not good. But yeah, I can't wait to go to uchi.tumblr.com after we wrap up this episode. That's amazing. Well, thank you guys for watching and listening. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.